I I'm really pleased to be joined on the Crispin Flintoff show by Duke Baysee. How you doing, Duke?
Not too bad.
Long time no see.
Yeah.
I mean, I just so people know, I went to the Notting Hill Carnival the weekend just past and stayed around another day, and I just bumped into Duke in a park, in Holland Park actually, and we started talking on the bench, on a park bench, which is also it's a really good place to meet someone. and and Duke was telling me about his story, and I thought this was something that would be of interest to lots more people, because in some ways, one of the stories of the last week has been Oasis reforming, and it just seems a desperate attempt to get them into the limelight again. And Duke's story is sort of the opposite of that, of not wanting to be in the limelight anymore. And I'll just maybe just to sort of illustrate that from the start, I'll just, if you don't mind, Duke, I'll just play a clip of where you were in the 90s. I mean, the Oasis were from the 90s. I mean, you were doing stuff in the 90s, and this is a compilation of some clips of you in the 90s.
Today, the number 38 has taken a diversion to Studio One here at Television Centre, along with the conductor, Duke Baysee.
Duke Baysee's bus.
Duke Baysee, who has been a much-loved attraction on number 38.
Duke, I think if most people given the choice between being a rock star or a bus conductor, it would be no contest.
Singing London bus conductor with a ticket to ride, which has taken him to the in South Africa.
Conductor Duke Baysee.
Number 38, the conductor just asked you to sing along. In fact, busman Duke Baysee is so keen on singing, he's been snapped up to make a pop record out next week.
Conductor Duke Baysee from East London. It's a dream that came true on the number 38 from Hackney.
This man is a chart-topping star in Japan and South Africa, but here in London, he's a bus conductor.
Sugar Sugar was a big hit for me at the time, and being on the television and in the newspapers on a weekly basis, it was a crazy life.
I am your candy girl, and you got me wanting you. Life so sweet.
Tell them go the wawa we keep busy. Man them a scream and them a go long like freak. Love the way you walk, love the way you speak. Every man a try but none of them can reach. Lawyer come with the big black speech. Inna you ears all the pass are free. Man a give you trouble when you walk on the beach.
It's something I want to show you. Have you seen this before?
No.
Well, let me turn it round and show you something. I can show you. Can you see there?
Oh, yeah, it says Oasis, doesn't it?
Oasis, yeah. And if you look further down, who do you see?
Oh, right.
I'm on the same album as Oasis.
Wow.
But you know what, Chris? As a child, I really wanted to be famous, and I made bands and sound systems, recording studios. I done everything I done to be famous because that's what I wanted to do. But it was very exciting. I can say that, very exciting. But in the long run, I think you get older, and I think when I became famous, if it was when I was in my younger age, I probably would have liked to have gone a bit further, because it was in a more of an older age for me. It very quickly became something that I didn't want it like to be this way in my life as I'm getting older, and it was too much really at the end of the day. You know, your life just doesn't belong to you. Newspapers, radios, TV. You can't do what you would normally do in the streets. You've got to be this person that setting an example for the world, when really you should be setting an example for musicians. And it became something where it wasn't for me. I couldn't be giving my life to the general public and the press and the media like that anymore. I wanted it to be more private, and the best way to do was to step away from it.
So you've decided not to carry on with that. I mean, when we spoke on Tuesday, you were saying that you'd gone back to Jamaica because your mum had passed away. Could you tell us about what happened there?
Well, when my mum passed, it's nearly a year now. I just didn't want to come back to England, and I had already made plans to go to Jamaica. So for 5 years, I've been sending down solar systems and panels and things to have a solar. So the house was fully solar. Plus, on the land, there's a well, so you don't have to pay for no electric. You don't have to pay for no water, and I wasn't paying for food because I could just dig it out of the ground, or I could just pull it off of a tree. And that's how I was living. And I thought, I'm not going to go back to England. And I was out there growing food as well because during COVID, I got my diploma in horticulture. So I'm now a horticulturalist. I've been a horticulturalist for many years now. And in Jamaica, it was more of an advantage having the heat to grow food there and produce and just live free. Don't pay for anything.
Right. I mean, I'm going to show a video of what that means. This is you in Jamaica.
Here I am on the upstairs veranda with a delicious meal, mainly grown off of the land, like the green bananas, the cocoa, ackee, and the seasonings that go with it. The only thing that didn't grow on the land was the chicken, which my cousin killed, which is cooked in kalaloo, and the rice and peas. But the mango and the soursop, as you know, all are from the land. Now, today was a different grow you eat and eat what you grow, and we did discuss sustainability and living for free energy. People use coal because they can make coal. People use solar because they can afford to put solar in, and then your electricity becomes free. You can even live off the grid. But this is the way to live, the free life, and that's what the free life. That's what I've been doing here in Jamaica on a little short trip. And now becoming there permanently to do this so that I don't have to go to the shop in England to buy these stuff. So I hope you've learned something and you continue to grow what you eat and eat what you grow.
Right, I mean, that's a pretty good life you got there. I mean, I'm interested in the you've got everything you need there. The solar panels. I mean, what was your thinking? How much do you need? How many solar panels do you need? And what's the requirements for that?
It's not as easy as that because you can have a solar panel which is 100 watt, 100. You can have 200 watt, 250 watt, 400 watt, right up to 500 watts. So it depends on how much wattage your panels are, then how many panels you would have. Because I've got 42 spare panels just sitting on the floor over there because I didn't understand that theory. So I've got so many panels down there, and so many. There's already 18 on the roof, and I've got 42 spare. Now I understand the theory. It's the higher the wattage of the panel, the less panels you need.
Right. And how much power does that give you? Can you do everything you need on?
Well, with the panels that's there, it's a fridge, freezer, a freezer by itself, washing machine, TVs, all the lighting in the house, all the mobile phones, internet, plus anybody who wants to come and plug in their hair dryers and their phone and everything. So it's literally running a house.
People watching this might think, oh God, this guy's got everything. I'm really pissed off with him. He's got, he's had all this fame. He doesn't want it, and he's had that money. He doesn't want it, and now he's got a place where he's free to live, and it's sunny, and he's got food. He's got all this great food coming out. But I just wanted to show that you've actually your horticultural expertise has been used to great effect. I mean, if we look at this clip here.
Finally, here we have it, the pumpkin to be entered in the competition. These are seeds which I brought back from Jamaica for these Jamaican pumpkins. I thought I'm going to try them here, and they seem to grow pretty well, so I'm going to enter it in a competition, and let's see. Will it win? We'll have to wait and see.
Oh, what a walk, oh, a pumpkin belly.
The competition is now started. The judging is happening in this tent behind me. I've entered Scotch bonnet pepper, sweet potato.
What got my brother?
What up, man? Anything happens here, man. Anything happens. Scotch bonnet pepper, mango, papa, what else is there? Zucchini and sweet potatoes. So let's see where I come in this competition.
So is Duke here? Duke, step forward, my man. Duke takes away cucumber, peppers, marrows and any other vegetables, and it's just wonderful having you in our growing community.
Right, so you're like the Usain Bolt of the horticultural world now. Got all the gold medals. So that well, I mean, we don't know much. I mean, I don't know about whether those crops that you've got. I didn't know that they could grow in this climate. I mean, you mentioned some like sweet potato, and the thing about that is you've sort of proved that you can grow that in this country. So you've actually you're helping others to do that. I'll just show this clip as well.
Like to know how to grow sweet potato? Have you tried to grow sweet potato with no success? Do you know where to buy sweet potato slips? Well, look no further and join me at the Duke Baysee Sweet Potato Workshop in Kew Gardens, Sunday the 5th of June between 1 and 3 p.m. Entrance free as long as you say you're coming to see the Duke Baysee Sweet Potato Workshop. Bring the family and get in for free to the Duke Baysee Sweet Potato Workshop at Kew Gardens.
So you're proving that you can grow these veg that no one thought were possible. How many turned up for your workshop there at Kew Gardens?
It's supposed to have been between 10 and 15, but 260 people turned up at the first session. So they closed the gates off, cut the 2-hour session in 1 hour, moved them off into the park, because people were building up outside. Another set were building up outside, so we had to do 2 workshops.
How is it possible to grow those crops? I mean, is it just that we don't think we can and that we always could?
Yeah, I would say that, because a lot of people say to me, why are you growing that? It doesn't grow in this country. Now, that is just the wrong attitude to be having to any plant. Because I've managed to get plants up like akis, mangoes, breadfruits, things that the tropical plants. I've managed to grow the plant. I haven't got the fruits yet, but I have the plants that have definitely grown. And there's, strangely enough, if you get the time, Chris, if you can type in avocado plant tree in South London, if you can just put that in YouTube, avocado tree in South London, you'll be shocked. There's an avocado tree taller than a house. And there's about 250 avocado pears on there.
What?
Now, I believe what they've done, they had it in their house and they couldn't have it no more. They put it outside and I think it climatized. Now, this is a tropical plant. It's gone so high, it's over the trees, and the amount of avocados on there. Just type it in when you get to some time in YouTube, avocado tree in South London, you'll be shocked. So I keep on trying to tell people, stop having the attitude to say, this doesn't work, and have the attitude to say, let's give it a shot, and whatever happens, happens. And that's what I did with the sweet potatoes.
Are people missing that opportunity and they could actually produce it themselves?
Yep. You don't need a big space to produce food. I think they should do more in the schools. Yeah. Because if you speak to a lot of kids in the school, they think carrots comes from Sainsbury's or from Wilco's or from Tesco's. They don't know it comes out of the ground. And that's a shock. They don't even, a lot of them have never seen a live chicken before in their life. And we need to be teaching kids that and showing them that you can save a lot of money producing your own stuff in an allotment.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of like, it doesn't seem that it's available to a lot of, it's a sort of class thing as well. People who grow veg are not normally like in a city. They don't seem to know that kind of thing. They're not given that access. And if you listen to gardening question time, it's always very well spoken people talking about their flowers and stuff like that. It's not like there's any cultural side that promotes it, is there? There's no culture as well that promotes it. It's almost set up that only certain people grow flowers and have a garden and all that thing. Is that what you think? Do you see that too?
Yes, it was only the other day at work, we had a meeting and I was telling them about diversity. There is not a lot of diversity. The horticultural world in England is mainly white people and white middle class people.
Yeah.
And there's other things that they can learn. And I think because if you leave it like that, you stick to your carrots and your tomatoes and your potatoes and your lettuce and cabbages, and then you're not going to venture out. If there was diversity, you can see what the Pakistani people are doing. You can see what the Caribbean people are doing. You can see what the African people are doing. And then they will teach you and you teach them. And this is how diversity works, where it wouldn't become a problem wanting to learn. You say, oh, my mate, Lockman, he could show me. And then you now go and show others. So this is where diversity is very important, because it's not very diverse when I see it here. As I said, I mentioned it at work the other day, and I said you're going to need a lot more people from other parts of the world, not just English people.
What do you think about Jamaica's political situation? I mean, it's always had a kind of bad reputation for the two parties being kind of corrupt and in some way, and also the stuff about the American influence in Jamaica. I mean, with the whole fighting going on between the parties, that was clearly backed with weapons from the US.
Well, first of all, in 1655, the British took away Jamaica from the Spanish, and they killed so many Spanish. They colonized the country, bringing their pounds, shilling, pence, religion, education, everything, until Jamaica became a little England, literally. That was my dad's days. My dad used to respect all these nice white people around him because they were respectable. In 1955, my dad came to this country. He didn't get none of that respect. It was the days of no Irish, no blacks, no dogs. At that time, Jamaica was still under British influence. As time went on, there was the two prime ministers, Siaga and Manley. Manley was more for the Cuba, and Siaga was more for America. The British had such a massive influence on Jamaica that everybody wanted to go to England. That's why my dad came in. But when Manley he lost it, and then Siaga came in, that's when the guns came in from America. And this is now where the guns has now made a bigger influence on Jamaica than England. More people in Jamaica now want to go to America than want to come in here. And that's because they see what's coming from there, which is power. And the power is coming through the guns. So the government will be, imagine you're a prime minister, you're in charge. You can't say, let me get the guns in. But what you can say is, you have me on the side I'm a man for you, but I've got a reputation. So you're going to just tell me, okay, you're going to give me the go ahead. And that's how the guns come through. So I start bringing all the guns in on your behalf because you're giving me all this power.
Right.
So the government doesn't get their hands dirty, but they definitely have an influence on those guns that's coming in. And it's mainly, those days it was to kill the other party, really. And you'd have less voters. Today, it's gone so bad that the guns are out there and they're not killing for political warfare anymore. It's all for power. It's not for political JLP and PMP anymore. So you find it's the youngsters with guns, just like in England. It's no different, where the youngsters are here stabbing each other. So instead of the guns in this country, the knives are in this country. But it's the youngsters. It's not really big people that's doing these things. You know, up to the other day, yesterday, I was listening to the news where they killed somebody in a wheelchair in Hackney. Now that's not an adult that's doing that. These are young kids, young boys between the age of 17 and 25. It's the same with Jamaica. The majority of that's going on is the age of 17 and 25. One of the big things that's influenced the young boys is scamming. And when you can see a 20-year-old with a 10-bedroom house, he has to keep himself armed because there's obviously people seeing him as somebody with money. And if he's got a 20-bedroom house, a gun is cheap for him to buy. These are people scamming, making loads of money. So that's one of the most top crime in Jamaica today, scamming. And they're making millions. Millions of scamming, yeah.
What, like online stuff? And
online, it's as simple as calling you up and say, Chris, hi, it's Chris, yeah. Well, you've won 7 million on the blah blah blah, and you say, yeah, yes. And they say, well, all you need to do is just give us your details, and that is as easy as it is. And the people who are not thinking, vulnerable people, give their details, and they're getting robbed. While me and you would say, but we ain't entered a competition. What do you mean?
Right. Yeah.
And they're doing it through online scamming and telephones. That's the most common ones.
Wow.
And they're scamming abroad. They're not even scamming in Jamaica. They're phoning overseas. And again, 5,000, just over £5,000 in English money is $1 million in Jamaica.
Is there an election or anything coming up there?
There is one coming up. There was a semi-election the other day recently. Just before I went out there was a semi-election just about a year ago, and you wouldn't believe it. About I think it was about 12% of people voted. Nobody's interested. Nobody's interested anymore. Once upon a time, they were fighting and killing each other. Now it seems like they've realised it's just a two-headed dragon. The vote was really poor. About 12% of the country. Nobody cares anymore, man.
Do you know what I'd really like? Is if when you get to Jamaica and you're doing your stuff, if you could do a Zoom out there, and we could catch up on that. Maybe every so often, if I could ask people if they've got any questions that they want to ask you about horticulture and how to make things work. If you still remember what it's like when you're out there, how it is to be in a cold climate, you're probably well forgotten by then.
I'd love to do that, man. And I would love you to come down there one day when I'm out there living out there properly. I'd love you to come, man.